Good morning. Hey, this is your host, Jeff Ski Kinsey. This is a special edition, the Tesla edition, Day 2 of Coffee with Ski, my newsletter. This is the audio podcast, also part of fastchargeenergy.com. I know some of you are saying, Ski, you talk a lot about stuff besides fast charging. Yes, I do. That's life. And what are you passionate about? You know, I might want to hear some of that. So reach out. Hey, by the way, the best way to reach out to me, okay, don't send me a link or an email or a text or a carrier pigeon saying, hey, here's a link, schedule some time with me, okay? Those almost never work. Less than 50% of the time, in my many years of experience, have those appointments come off as scheduled. It just doesn't happen, okay? Stop doing stupid stuff. It's like the guy who is standing in the middle of the street, actually not, on the sidewalk in the middle of town, and he's beating his head against the wall of a building. And a passerby says, what in the world are you doing? And the guy's beating his head against the wall, and he says, I thought it was obvious. The guy goes, no, please elaborate. He says, doesn't it hurt? He goes, yes, but it feels so good when I stop. Aha. Stop doing stupid stuff. Okay? We all need to do that. These podcasts, by the way, are an encouragement for me as well. Okay? When you figure out you're doing something stupid, dumb, not getting... Zig Ziglar used to say this. He goes, every decision you make, okay, if something comes up, okay, in business, okay, now if you're sitting at a traffic light, or as you drive up to one, it turns yellow, okay, I'm not talking about that kind of decision. I'm talking about decisions in life and business. Zig Ziglar said, stop, drop, and roll this concept around. This concept Ziglar shared said, look, will this decision I'm about to make, will it take me closer to or further away from my goal? Yes. That's how we need to approach life. So I said all that to say, Teslas, okay, driving one and experiencing a Tesla, an EV on a 24/7 basis is entirely different than renting one for a couple days. Now, some of you know I rented a Tesla Model X for, I think it was 3 days, a couple weeks ago, a month or so ago. And the insight that I gained was invaluable if you're going to run a company about fast charging EVs, okay? But one of my wise colleagues said, yeah, that's good, but you need to take it on a long trip. You need to experience trying to get from point A to point B of several hundred miles or more. Then let's hear what you think. In the first episode of that was yesterday. I had taken a road trip. I woke up and recorded a podcast after a road trip, after experiencing that. Today is, 24 hours plus later after that, and a time to reflect. And so let me reflect this way. I'm in Northeast Ohio. I drove from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, back to Ohio in the Tesla Model X, okay, over 600 miles. And now I know stuff I did not know or even comprehend or even envision just 48 hours ago. And I got to say my hat's off to Mike Tyson. He's the one who says, everyone's got a plan right up until you get punched in the face. Okay, plans change. So I had this great plan. Okay, I was going to make 2 stops of 30 plus minutes, roughly 30 minutes each, and be home in no time. Guess what? That's not how EVs work for the most part. Okay, the dirty little secret that I was aware of but had not experienced was this idea of a battery charging profile or curve. Okay, so what this is let's say your car is down around 5-10%. Okay, you plug in the case of a Tesla, to a supercharger on the road, and the juice just flies in. This vehicle, I think I experienced over 160 kW. Now, there's other stuff we'll get into as I break this down over the days ahead. But even at a 250 kW charger, sometimes you might be lucky to get 150 kW. Okay, I didn't comprehend that, and you may not, but that'll come up later. So anyhow, at points when I first plugged in, I would get over 150 kW. But quickly, within minutes, as the battery started to fill up, it would drop, and it would drop down below 100 kW. Then it would drop below 90. Then it would drop below 80. And at 70, I realized, the dawn over Marblehead, I realized that I was going to be sitting there a long time. So shout out to Kyle at Out of Spec. I could never understand why he'd pull into a charger, start charging, wasn't happy with the numbers, and would drive away. So, I'll try next time. I'll try down the street. And it's, from a time perspective, it's expensive to do this. But if he can plug in somewhere else and get, say, back up to 150 kW instead of 70 kW, it makes all the difference in the world. Here's the bottom line for that trip. I ended up, I think, making 7 or 8 stops. I still got to recount my steps for my formal report. But one time I stopped just to use the restroom, grab a coffee, and I think I got 50, 60 miles while I'm doing that, and then jump back in the car and head off to the next charger. So life experiences are important. We call that wisdom. Well, wisdom is actually the experience learned by somebody else, shared with us. Okay, so I'm sharing some wisdom. Whether or not you want to listen, I don't know. But still, I am so bullish. I'm more bullish on Tesla today than I was 48 hours ago. And that's very hard for even me to comprehend. So this morning I jump in the car. I'm going to wrap this up. Before I jump in the car, I go to the app on my phone and I say, hey, turn the heater on inside the car. It was 32 degrees outside, but within 2 minutes, it was 73 degrees, I think I had it set for. 73 degrees in my car, in the Tesla I'm renting. Hey, if I can help, reach out. It's that simple.